Hello, welcome to my YouTube page, Sonia Rosa. You just caught me reading my debut novel, Where's the Dessert? I would love for you to come on my journey of healing from anxiety and depression, and then travelling overseas to Italy to work with Italian chefs, cooking Italian food and working in Italian restaurants, all in the journey to find the sweetness in life. If you wish to know what the sweetness in life is, feel free to come to www.soniarosawriter.com and order a copy of my debut novel. But to give you a little taster of my debut novel, I'll read you a small excerpt from chapter 4 called Miss Depression. Knock knock. Who's there? Miss Depression. Who? Miss Depression. You called me, remember? And it's time I paid a visit. Excuse me, but I don't recall sending out any invitation to a Miss Depression. Well, you did, because I clearly remember seeing it. Now I'm here and you need to let me in. Well, yes, if there is no choice. Well, there is a choice, and you made the choice to invite me, so I need to come in. The rest is up to you. I had no idea that depression was coming. No warning whatsoever. I went from running to the toilets and dry reaching to running to the toilets to cry at the drop of a hat. I had spent months dealing with my anxiety. I figured out why I had developed anxiety in the first place and understood myself so much better. I was self-aware and took it one day at a time. I thought I had, again, resolved all my issues and was on the road to recovery. I was feeling good and happy, going out, meeting new people, and believed I had got on top of everything. So the recovery process started once again with another trip to the doctors, and you guessed it, a questionnaire. I need to prescribe you medication. The score is high and you need something to manage the symptoms, the same Sri Lankan doctor informed me. So this time I left the doctor's office with a prescription and a new mental health plan. Whoop whoop. I made another appointment with Sandra. It's a normal process, Sandra told me quietly and calmly, to deal with anxiety and then to explore depression. Most people go through the same process. Oh well, at least I'm normal in that respect, I thought. A few days later, I arrived home from work exhausted. It was a particularly busy day of people living in crisis situations that needed sorting out by the end of the day. In social work, there are problems that cannot wait for the next day to be resolved, such as where a child needs to sleep that night. On this day, I had dealt with my fair share and it had started to take its toll on my mental and physical health. As I walked into my apartment, I noticed the bookshelf in my spare room. I walked over and started looking at all the self-help books I had bought over the years, or had been bought for me. I looked at their famous titles with the famous messages: live in the present moment, your life is a mirror of your inner belief systems, you create what you believe, happiness is being content even when you don't have everything you want. All of a sudden, an uncontrollable anger began in the pit of my stomach and rose through my body, forcing me to scream. I picked up each book one by one and started to throw them around the room. This then extended to the rest of the apartment. I picked up one book called Ask and It Shall Be Delivered, and I looked at it closely. Its blue cover was mesmerizing, as was the message and famous tale that the author's channeling a spirit guide. What a load of crap, I screamed and threw the book across towards a glass jar that was sitting on my dining table, but missed the jar by miles. What a useless book, it can't even hit its mark, I screamed louder. I continued on and there were books landing everywhere and this crazy woman screaming at the top of her lungs. I wondered what the neighbours might have thought, but no one knocked at the door. I kept screaming and throwing books until I was exhausted and fell to the floor, surrounded by torn books and bits of paper lying everywhere. After I had some time to recover from my little hissy fit, I stood and found an old box and paper bag and packed all my books away. I put the torn books in the recycling bin. I no longer wanted to see them because they did not provide the message I needed. I had done almost everything those books said. I asked for the relationship and family, but it never came. I believed in giving to others before myself and always took on extra work only to develop a mental illness. Prior to my mental illness, I was happy with my life. I loved my job and persevered despite not always getting what I wanted. I didn't have the relationship and children, but I had faith, health and friends, and I was generally content. At work, I watched people with less experience and sometimes less knowledge than me move higher up the ladder and become my supervisors. With strength, I accepted that and just kept ploughing through and believed my time would come when I was ready. Eventually, the right time did come. The great job and opportunity came, but it was halted with my mental illness. I had to start all over again, and I had no idea why. After I packed up my books, I sat next to the boxes and curled up in a ball and started to cry. I cried and cried and cried and could not stop crying. I was wet with tears. Well-meaning friends offered me advice to keep moving forward and told me to fight the depression, but instinctively I knew that to fight was not the answer. I had to sit, live, and be with the depression. I had to feel it, express it, and be it. It was part of me at this present moment, and to get rid of it would be denying a part of who I was. So I sat with my books and just cried. The tears wet my face, my neck, and my clothes. I felt the pain, I felt the sadness. I just felt for most of the night until I was too tired to feel any more and fell asleep. In the next few weeks, I will be undertaking a Ask Sonia Rosa, and you can pose any questions you would like, and I will do my best to answer them. I'm looking forward to you coming on this journey with me in looking for the sweetness in life. I think I found it, but I'm more than happy to help you find it as well. So with that, thank you, and I'm going back to reading my novel. See ya!